Well, a mere 30 years later, the murder trial for Tupac Shakur is beginning in Las Vegas. Yes, it is actually, we're about a month shy of the 30-year anniversary of that shooting in Las Vegas when Tupac, this was after a Mike Tyson fight. Tupac had gotten into a fight at the MGM Grand. He and Suge Knight get into a car, and a couple blocks later, someone opens fire. The trial, the man who was standing trial, Keefe D.
He was not the shooter.
Not the shooter.
But they say he orchestrated it. He bought the gun, put the gun in the white Cadillac, and that he's the one that kind of engineered it.
And it was a relative of his who, as the police believe, that the prosecutors believe that it was a relative of his who was the actual trigger man, but that Keefe D actually...
And he's dead.
Yes, and he died, a few months after.
Right. So
after Tupac.
What's interesting about the trial is that the prosecution's star witness is the defendant.
Right. And Keefe D has done interviews. He's written a book, or at least there is a book that appears to have been written by him where he confesses to these things, where he says...
And has talked about it.
Right, and he's talked about it on podcasts. So it would seem like he's already confessed. This should be an easy case. Well, Keefe D is now sort of taking back some of those statements and saying that he's not necessarily responsible for them. He spoke to our affiliate in Las Vegas this weekend. They went to the jail where he's being held and talked to him about that book that he wrote.
I read your book, Compton Street Legend, that you co-authored. Why did you feel the need to tell your story? And when you wrote it, did you ever imagine the situation you'd be in now?
I didn't write that book. I just told him 10 things in my life and gave him some pictures. I never read it or nothing. I wasn't even in Las Vegas, so I wasn't in Vegas when this stuff happened. I just said that stuff to get out of trouble.
So you were not in Las Vegas, you're saying September 7th, 1996?
No, I wasn't.
That's not really the issue.
Him not being in Vegas doesn't...
His presence doesn't really matter for the charges.
It is so shocking to me that on the eve of jury selection, he's talking to reporters.
It's wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What is the rationale? To try to change the court of public opinion on the eve of trial and sort of recant the narrative that's out there? I don't really understand.
The narrative that he put out there.
I know, but it's always been attached to him. So on the eve of trial, he's now pulling it.
And what the problem is, he can say that it was a ghostwriter and that he didn't actually write that book. But the things in the book, he has repeated himself in interviews.
On podcasts and so forth. He's been outspoken about this.
There was also a time when he spoke to police when he was arrested.
Now, that can be consistent with him not feeling he's responsible in any way for Tupac's murder. He's not the trigger man. In some sense, he's saying, I didn't end Tupac's life. They've acknowledged that
he didn't pull the trigger.
That's right. Their theory of the case is that he's responsible because he acquired the gun and gave it to the person who did do it.
Suge Knight was in the car. He has refused to testify. So Suge knows a lot, but he's just
every time we have
talking.
spoken to Suge, and we've spoken to him quite a bit since he is while he's in prison here in California, but he has certainly intimated that he knows things, but has also done what Suge does and says, "Look, street law is I'm not telling people, I'm not telling police what I know."
Right.
Hi, my name is Beatty from Oakland, California. I think it's crazy that almost after 30 years, Tupac's murder is finally going to trial. Listen, Keefe D spent years publicly talking about his involvement, and some of those statements could actually be used against him.
Oh, they will.
At this point...
Not may, they will.
Yeah, and that's the scary part. But I mean, honestly, at this point, I just want to see if we're finally going to get the answers we've been looking for.
Well, I don't think you're going to get answers. I think you may get a verdict.
You may get a verdict, and you know how this works, that whatever the verdict is, the conspiracy theorists will say, we don't actually know the answers yet. And
well, we know he was not the shooter.
Right.
So even if they convict him, we don't know. We'll never get to the bottom of that.